From the intricacies of international relations to the dynamics of global power. Welcome to GEO-NA Frontlines, your go-to space for deep dives into South Asia's most pressing geopolitical flashpoints. I'm your host Shahar Bano, and in today's episode, we are basically going to dissect the 2025 India-Pakistan crisis. What triggered it, how close the region came to full scale conflict, and the growing weight of China Pakistan axis in reshaping the India's defense outlook. So stay with us as we will unpack the facts behind the fog of war. I'm joined today by Sayyid Farooq Hussain, who is known for his thought provoking insights on geopolitics. So, Assalamu alaikum and welcome aboard, sir. Hope you're doing well.
Thank you, Sherbena Beta. Appreciate your introduction. And should we move to the question you asked? How is this shaping the geopolitics and the military equation for South Asia? Right?
So, first, let's talk about the recent development in the region. The recent India Pakistan conflict that began in May 2025. How do you see this conflict evolving? And as there's been a lot of discussion about a new regional axis between Pakistan and China as well. Can you elaborate on how this axis is altering the military dynamics in South Asia and what are the strategic implications for the region? Please.
Well,
Come.
you got to the point pretty much right on the nail. The China's backing of Pakistan so far to date was behind the scenes. However, in this war, what happened was what Praveen Sani, the Indian analyst, always said if they're going to face one front reinforced, one front Pakistan reinforced by China. Now let's see what happened over here. Indian objectives was to hit terror camps, okay? And they took 5 or 6 places, including Bahawalpur, and they rained BrahMos missiles towards them, okay? For that, the Indian wanted Su-30s, and their latest Rafales were brought to the border to launch this attack. What they faced was a integrated fusion detection system, which included all the radars, including the AWACS, including ground radars, including sensors, as well as satellite information. What it meant was Pakistan developed with China a whole new technique of aerial conflict. And in this one, over 125 planes faced each other. Now, one of the things which has happened in the past is when a jet fires a beyond visual range missile to shoot another one down, he has to make sure follow up, and then he downs it. In this fight, a whole different dynamics occurred. The platform firing did not need to guide the missile. The platform detecting didn't need to be an aircraft. And the platform taking it to the end and to the aircraft detonation was probably an AWAC, aerial reconnaissance aircraft. So this is called a multi-fusion defense system, and this has altered the total way how battles are going to be fought in the air in the future. And seeing this has jolted the hell out of everybody in the world. In this war, everybody who had satellite information from Russia, China, UK, America, and the Soviet Union, everybody saw what happened on their satellites. America's is GPS, you all know that. Europeans have one. Chinese is Beidou. Russians have one. They all saw live at least 6 Indian planes shot out of the sky. The testament to this, in recent India, they admitted to losing 4 of their pilots. That means under normal circumstances, with a PL-15, they would have a 9-second window to bail out. But looks like in this case, they did not even have any chance of finding out they're being fired at. They
Exactly.
only found out once the missile detonated on them. Fundamentally, what happened after that, the geopolitical military situation went upside down for India. From being geopolitically, oh, super, oh, you're almost there, oh, India, it went, whoosh. They do not have a geopolitical stature anymore in this world. They are being treated at the same level as Arabs are, no geopolitical status, and they're treated the same as Europeans are not being considered by America as a geopolitical partner. So militarily, their geopolitical thing went down. And Pakistan emerged out of this one as a geopolitical military power to be reckoned with in this
Exactly.
region. Now, one of the things which made this possible is the Chinese technology of multi-domain integration, sensor fusion. Second thing which they gave us was the J-10s, on which were mounted the PL-15 air-to-air BVR missiles. These BVR missiles, now we find out, has a range of 300 kilometers. So our kill was, one of them was at 192 kilometers away, which is a world record. So fundamentally in this one, couple of things occurred. The Pakistan-China military alliance came out in the open. The
Exactly.
second thing was proved that the Chinese technology in BVR and missiles is a generation way ahead of the West. The best the West could come up with was a Meteor. Meteor had a range of only 110 kilometers. We went at them with a range of 300 kilometers, and we claimed our kills, at least 6, between the ranges of 150 to 200 kilometers. The effect of this one was that the Indian Air Force was grounded for 2 days. I repeat, they were grounded for 2 days. No matter what the Indian media says, that everything says, when your Air Force is grounded for 2 days, it means your upper command thinks if you fly, you get shot down.
Exactly.
So the the dashat, the shock of the defeat was so much evident to their top that they grounded all their fleets. Now, they said after 2 days we adjusted and came. It means they adjusted, but they stayed far away from where they shot a missile, if they at all did. But in fact, de facto, Indian Air Force was out of the fight. Now let's get
Exactly.
back where the Indians were a little successful. Indians fired BrahMos, which is a supersonic low altitude missile of range between 300 to 500 kilometers. And some of them did get through. And they created casualties. We lost 13 people at Noor Khan Air Base, including our squadron leader. So there were casualties. But when we retaliated across at 26 bases, I think all hell broke loose on the Indian side. And let me describe it by some facts. All of Punjab, all of Kashmir, they were completely ripped apart by our hackers who took over and took down every one of their sites. It's called a cyber attack. A
Cyber
cyber
attack.
attack of this magnitude was never done so far. But the Pakistanis took the credit for it. Thank you, Chinese brothers.
Yes. So let's talk about the
One
recent
minute,
ceasefire between India and
1 minute,
Pakistan.
let me finish.
Sure.
When I'm done, I will always, you'll know, find out.
Okay, sure.
Indians admitted to a casualty of over 250 dead. That means their wounded were in thousands. If we had on our end so much casualties, what do you think our hospitals will look like? So in fact, de facto, India as a military power came down probably at the same level as probably Bangladesh or one of the smaller countries. Anyway, all yours.
Okay, let's talk about the ceasefire, the recent ceasefire between India and Pakistan that was brokered in early June with the support of Gulf states. While it's a welcome development, but many are questioning its sustainability. Do you really think this ceasefire is a genuine step toward peace, or is it merely the calm before the storm? What do you comment about that?
You have asked a very good question. To answer that question, you've got to first understand how did this come to occur.
Exactly.
It was not by a few people speaking Arabic in Middle East who made it
Mm-hmm.
happen. No, it made it happen by President Trump himself. America did it so. Now you want to know America about 24 hours earlier, I think about 3-4 days earlier, Vance, whose wife is Indian, was saying, this is Pakistan India matter. India will settle it. Don't worry about it. Amen, amen. And suddenly Trump is involved and he wants a ceasefire. Trump is involved, but he doesn't want a ceasefire in Gaza.
Exactly.
Trump is involved and they're not getting a ceasefire in Ukraine. Why is he involved here?
Exactly.
Because their main ally in the region got clobbered, where they got shook, and they probably begged Trump to get them a ceasefire. So this ceasefire was a big downing for India, a bilateral this. So basically, they asked for a ceasefire. And looking at behind the lines, I don't have any special information, but I'm deducing from the fact that the three things Pakistan asked for: water, Indus Water Treaty;
Exactly. Mhm.
2, talk on Kashmir; 3, talk on terrorism. And the Indians agreed with it. And the Pakistanis said, we also probably, they said, mediation on Kashmir. So Trump went ahead to the next step and announced a ceasefire. And the Indians just didn't know how to take it. They turned out to be a bunch of liars. Even the spokesman of the White House called them as such. Says, we don't lie, but other ones you can do your own thing on. The whole idea of this one is India barely looking, hanging on to the Shimla agreement, and Pakistan said it's gone. But Shimla agreement gave them, number one, a line of control, which either side they said they're not going to violate, change the boundary. Halka pulka wo to chalta rahega. And they also said everything is bilateral. Pakistan said that's gone. So now we are sitting at 1948 level, which is a ceasefire line which either side can change. To make matter things worse for India, good old Modi got up on the high stool and said, Operation Sindoor is on a pause. We have not done. So from an Indian standpoint, this is not a
Yeah,
ceasefire.
exactly. It's
It's a
not a ceasefire.
pause. Okay.
Okay.
From our
Uh,
side, from our
from our
side,
side.
it was very obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Vichy ISPR made one statement. He
Mm-hmm.
said, if you do anything, our response will be swift and brutal. That
Yes,
means
yes.
we attacked 26 bases. This time we will do 100. So that's what it means. Pakistanis will respond in a fashion where India will be so humiliated and in pain that they may not be able to sustain it. Go ahead.
All right. So, as this conflict has drawn in the global powers, including United States and China, what I believe are the primary goals and interest of US and China in this confrontation? Are they looking to support their respective allies, or do they have broader strategic objectives in the region? How might their involvement impact the conflict dynamics and the future of South Asia?
Okay, that's a very good question also. America's their main confrontation is with China.
Exactly.
and they wanted India to be part of the bulwark. So
Hmm.
this attack was basically to bring Pakistan into a war and not to give it a ceasefire. If the Indians were winning, you would not get a ceasefire. All
Exactly.
right? And if that happened, this CPAC route uh, would be cut off. Okay.
Hmm.
I would like you to bring seat back on it and then go back to this one. CPAC basically is the Chinese want to go to the Middle Eastern market and come back using CPAC. Okay.
Hmm.
It saves them $100 billion a year, and they're not subject to any naval blockade of the Indians or the Americans at all. So that is what the Americans wanted to achieve from this. The
Hmm.
second part, also, they wanted another thing happened on the American side which they didn't anticipate. Iran didn't run out of missiles, so
Hmm.
but they ran out of interceptors in Iran or in Israel. So they looked for a ceasefire. So they're going to be coming back at here again. Here, China has seen one thing, that its technology is way ahead of the Americans. So China would like the two parts, CPAC being one,
Hmm.
overarching. They would probably go for in the next year taking Taiwan because they have overwhelmingly technological superiority. And for that, China would want that we keep India busy with a with some kind of a war. They would like us to cut India to size. Okay, now what
Yes.
do the Americans want? Americans don't want India cut to size. They want to use them in case of Taiwan. Okay. However, there is convergence between the two superpowers. If Iran, which is going to be targeted next before us, they come at it and they try to close the Gulf of Hormuz, which is, you can see it on the left of Pakistan below in UAE and that. If they close the Strait of Hormuz, then both China and USA will ask us to be uh, to open this one up over here. Okay? And for that, we may have to really think about it. And that is one reason I probably think the Iranian president is coming here on the 26th, looking for guarantees. But if you look at the recent history, we have had our people attacked in Balochistan,
Hmm.
dead, 10, 20, in
Yes.
Swat. And there are reports that TDP and BLA are getting advanced drones. Now, those are not being manufactured in Afghanistan. Those are being not manufactured in Central Asia. Where are they being manufactured? The only country which makes them is about here, Turkey, or Russia. And how are these drones coming there? I think they're probably special consignment courtesies of one country.
Hmm.
How is the money ending up here with these guys? Courtesies of one country. Where did we get Gulbul Yadev? One country.
Hmm. Prime
So
importance.
a lot of things point towards Muslim Ummah. Let me say one other thing to you. World War One, all the Muslim Ummah backstabbed the Khalifa. All of them, except one, Pakistanis. Okay?
Hmm. Right.
So there's history there, there's everything there. Okay. Can we get back to the other one? This.
Sure. Okay, the recent conflict between India and Pakistan has undoubtedly been a significant learning experience for both the countries. What key takeaways do you think both nations have gathered from the conflict, and how might these lessons shape their future strategies?
I think what from this one we learned a lessons too. But the one which Indians learned is that their BrahMos was very effective. So they've opened up purchase order and they're going to buy hundreds of BrahMos more. because they were able to penetrate and hit our defenses, not just in Nur Khan, but also near Sargodha. Bilgate Hills also they hit. So they're going to get a lot more of that what happens. They also know they don't have the time to buy any aircraft. So they are humiliated, they want revenge, and they're going to come at us very soon. Okay. Now, what did we learn? China wants India cut to size. So they are going to give us what is called the HQ-19. HQ-19 is a third equivalent interceptor for not only high altitude, up to a couple of 100 kilometers away, but also especially for cruise missiles like BrahMos. So we're going to be getting that. Second thing, China will give us J-35, which is a stealth platform. Now, that's a very significant, because when the Indian Air Force ran back and they were hiding behind the S-400s, we destroyed some of them, but not totally. Exactly. But this time, this stealth aircraft can go right on top of an S-400 and lay the egg. And you understand what I meant, but they'll drop the bomb right on top of it. So this aircraft has the ability to take out all their ground-to-air defenses. And basically what that means, once that happens, Pakistan Air Force is going to run wild all over India, take down anything they want. Then China is also thinking of giving us PL-17s, which is a 450-kilometer range one. And they just came out with an 800-kilometer hypersonic air-to-air missiles. You, in fact, with that, you can, with a PL-15, you can put a no-fly zone up in Delhi, which is 400 kilometers away. With 800 kilometers, you can put a no-fly zone all over India.
Exactly.
So the ramifications of technology and where they are, China will be pushing us into doing suppression of India, cut into size. America will be doing their best to convince Pakistan not to get the J-35s and not to cut India to size. But as soon as India is ready, they will give the Indians ready to go come and hit us. And that's going to happen right after they take care of Iran. So we need to get ready before the Iranian episode is over. And this is all going to happen. I mean, you can argue with me, but it's all going to happen within the next 1 year.
Endgame.
So we can always sit and people can make all kinds of predictions, but within the year, we'll see it unfolding in front of us.
Yes. So, looking ahead, what are your expectations from the India-Pakistan situation? Will the tensions escalate further, or can we expect a period of relative calm? And how this might unfold in the context of ongoing developments in the Middle East, particularly with regards to Iran? Will the India and Pakistan situation be influenced by or intersect with the Iran endgame in any significant way? What do you think about that?
Actually, one thing you got to understand in this case, India is geopolitically not significant anymore in the Iran context. Okay. The only country which is of significance is Pakistan and Turkey. So both of us will come under pressure to do something about it in case the Iran closes the Gulf of Hormuz, Straits of Hormuz. So in that case, you got to recognize Iran is a population of 90 million and only 50 million are Persian speaking. The rest is all, what do you call? Non-Persian speaking. All the boundary from Pakistan, you can see this, all the way up to Kuwait, all Sistan. And on this side, they're mostly Arab speaking. There are not many Persian speaking in this line. Actually, up here is the Pashtun speaking. Up here is the Turkish speaking. Up here is Turkish speaking again. And this is that Turkish speaking which the Iranians got by stabbing the Caliphate in the back. Interesting times we live in. Go ahead. Or iska jo aage hai na, we are at a pause and remember one thing. Our adversary is a Hindu mullah. There is no logic there. There's no peace there.
No doubt.
Uh, do you know where we sit in Punjab, Pakistan? Very important to know.
Hmm.
Do you know?
Where?
Do you know where Sanskrit was founded? No. Lahore. Do you know where Hinduism was founded? Somewhere near Multan. Do you know where Jainism was founded? Somewhere in
So that.
Punjab. Punjab. Do you know where Buddhism was founded? Somewhere up in Punjab. Now I'm talking Punjab, the five rivers. It includes Kashmiris, Pathans, everybody. I'm not talking Punjabi language here. We are sitting on Indian holy land,
Exactly.
and this is a Hindu Maulvi. We are trespassers here. All right? आप सैयद हैं, मैं भी सैयद हूँ. We are not allowed to stay here. The only way the Hindu will accept us is,
Exactly.
okay? So
Yes.
they're coming to us, and they're not
So,
going to let us.
how this war affects the geopolitics of the region and overall world? What do you think about that? Overall
Say,
impact. Hmm.
say that again. Acha,
Overall,
overall,
exactly, on the geopolitics
overall this
of
war,
the world.
Pakistan's stature skyrocketed as a geopolitical power. Skyrocketed. And we behaved in a very well established state. When Mark Rubio called to ask for a ceasefire, and they knew Pakistan only had to walk across and take Kashmir, Pakistan did the next best thing. They said, yes, sir, we will give a ceasefire based on these conditions. So we suddenly, remember one thing, this is also the Chinese. At the same time when we were having this war, Chinese and senior-most diplomats, and the American senior-most diplomats strategically were talking in Switzerland to each other. So they both agreed for a ceasefire. China to re-equip us, finally clobber India to size. Americans to save India a really bad defeat. So the only reason we got a ceasefire is because the American ally was losing. And stature-wise, we are up there. Remember the next day Kuwait started giving Pakistanis visas? Kuwait, for 19 years, who didn't give visas to Pakistan, opened up the visas the next day. सदके जाऊं किस तरह आ गए हमारी तरफ यही है ना.
Very nice. So, thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights with us today. And that was really a deep analysis on the situation. And anything you further want to say about these situations, or should we wind it up?
All I will say is this: if one of the ladies, you want to make some money, तो एक दो तोले लेके रख ले. जब ये हल्ला गुल्ला चलेगा, फिर उसको बेच दीजिएगा. You'll make some money. For बंदों के लिए अपना अगर $100-200 लेकर रख लें, ये थोड़ा सा ऊपर जाएगा क्योंकि Iranians will come here to buy dollars. So वो 290 पे बैठा थोड़ा और ऊपर चला जाएगा शायद. उसको बेच दीजिएगा तो कुछ पैसे आप बना लेंगे. ठीक है? और ये वो है जो FBI मॉनिटर नहीं करता. Anyway, I don't want to get software updated. So yes, there's remember one thing: all these events give you an opportunity also to make money, chota mota, on the side. So
exactly. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable insights with us today. And special thanks to our listeners who for tuning in. And until next time, stay informed, stay vigilant, and we'll see you on the next episode, inshallah, of Geo and Our Frontlines. Thanks for joining us. Take care.
pleasure.
Allah.
Allah.